everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Debbie if you haven't been here before, and I read a lot of books. And at the moment I am doing 7 books of Christmas, where I am picking one book to talk about in the 7 days leading up to Christmas. If you saw last year's Christmas books, you might recognise the series that I'm about to talk about, because today's book is Hades by Candice Fox. Now, last year I read Fall, I think it was. Yeah, Fall, which I think might be book 3 in the series, I'm not completely sure. But at the time I found Fall, basically it wasn't my favourite book. I enjoyed the premise of it, but at the same time I felt like it didn't work as a standalone because I felt like I was missing a lot of information from the previous books. So I went back and found the first book, which is Hades. Here's the blurb for you. Homicide detective Frank Bennett feels like the luckiest man on the force when he meets his new partner, the dark and beautiful Eden Archer. But there's something strange about Eden and her brother Eric, something he can't quite put his finger on. At first, as they race to catch a very different kind of serial killer, his partner's sharp instincts come in handy. But soon Frank's wondering if she's as dangerous as the man they hunt. So this is in Australian fiction, crime and thriller, detective, police drama and forensics, and spy and espionage. It feels quite interesting to talk about a book that wasn't my favourite. At first I thought that the reason I didn't enjoy Fall was because I was missing a bit of the story. But obviously now I've got the beginning of the story with Hades, and yeah, it wasn't my favourite. This book takes you back to the origins of Eden and her brother Eric. And as the blurb implies, they're not who people think they are. It's done from the point of view of Hades, who is kind of a criminal mastermind. I think he's described as like Lord of the Underworld or something in the book. And basically it starts off with 20 years ago, 2 children who are kidnapped, left for dead, witness the most horrific crime of their parents being murdered. Hades is supposed to go in to kill the kids, and he decides not to, and so he takes them under the wing and basically becomes a father figure to the 2 children. And then 20 years later I work for the police as Eden and Eric, and it's a good concept. It reminds me a lot of Dexter, the TV series. It's definitely got that kind of element to it, especially when they start talking about the crime that they're investigating in the modern day, where they've found, it's basically a criminal who basically was shackled and thrown into a harbour, I think it is, and somehow manages to survive it, and he comes up and says, you know, there were boxes down there, and, you know, I don't think this is the first person this has happened to. And when the police investigate it all, they find all these boxes full of body parts. And so that storyline really does make me think of Dexter, because if you've seen Dexter you'll know it's basically about he's basically a forensic analyst. He studies blood in Dexter. So Dexter is like this forensic person, and he also moonlights as a serial killer, and he has ethics where he only kills the people who deserve to be killed. And one of the big storylines in Dexter is the fact that Dexter has a boat and he throws people into the harbour. He kind of takes his boat out and throws all the dead bodies chopped up into the sea. And yeah, that's where that storyline seemed to overlap with Dexter for me. As you can tell, it's an interesting concept, but the idea that, you know, you've got 2 people working in the police force who have to hide their childhood because they were part of a crime. Because there's basically 3 of them. There's Eden and Eric, who are brother and sister, and then you've got Frank Bennett, who is the homicide detective. His new partner is Eden. So throughout it he is questioning Eden and Eric. He does not like Eric. He likes Eden, but at the same time he's aware that there's something weird going on. So throughout it you've got the whole thing of you're getting the point of view of Hades, and you've got like little flashbacks and stuff about how Hades came to look after Eden and Eric. And then you've also got Frank, because obviously he's working this case, but at the same time he's also questioning his colleagues because he doesn't completely trust them. I don't know what it is about it that I didn't like, considering that it has similarities to Dexter, and I really enjoyed Dexter. I can't pinpoint why I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Because I mean, you've got Australia there, you've got the murder mystery, you've got that twist that these kids who were kidnapped and left for dead have grown up to become police officers. It's got all the elements that I would need for a good story, but for some bizarre reason I just didn't like it. And I'm not trying to put anybody off it. Be my cup of tea, might not be somebody else's. It just wasn't my favourite. Having read Fall, I felt like I was missing something from the previous books. Now having read Hades, the first book in the series, I realise it's not just about missing book one when I was reading that one. I think part of it is that the characters are really unlikable. None of them seemed particularly redeeming in my eyes. Maybe if I did read the others, maybe I'd get something more out of it. I feel really bad talking about a book like this, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. And I'm not saying it won't be yours. It just wasn't my favourite. I'm just going to leave it at that. I feel bad, but I know I shouldn't because it's just my personal taste. So it's 384 pages. So it's not a short one, but it's not a long one. Eden is the next book in the series, which is book 2, and Fall is book 3. It has everything there to be a book series that I would enjoy, but something about it, again, it might just be that I found the characters really unlikable, that it just didn't make me want to read anymore. And the only reason I went back to the first book was because I thought that maybe it would fill in the gaps that I didn't have when I read Fall. But yeah, so it's Fall by Candice Fox. This is the front cover of the book. Again, I'm not trying to put anybody off this book. I'm just giving you my personal feelings about it. As you hear, you know, I do recommend it to people who like crime and thriller books. Give it a go. Now, I've seen the reviews of it and genuinely it has quite good reviews. Yeah, hopefully I haven't put anybody off this book. It just wasn't for me. I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who would enjoy this, especially having seen some of the reviews and seeing that people did enjoy it and people do enjoy the series. It just wasn't my favourite, and that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't take away from anybody else's enjoyment of the book. It's just my personal opinion. That's part of being a booktuber at this point. There's always going to be something that I don't enjoy. It doesn't happen very often. I can't enjoy every single book I read because that would just be ridiculous. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another book, and tomorrow's book is The Holiday by T.M. Logan. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I upload every single Wednesday for my regular videos, but obviously this week I am uploading 7 books for 7 days in the lead up to Christmas. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for the next one. Mwah! La 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 la. Hey hey hey, goodbye. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey, goodbye. Bad Cinderella. Cinderella is the catchy name that they call me. That's what happened when I went a really, really thick cardigan. Did you see my brain just turn off? Did you see it? Because I felt it. La 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 la.